Okay, so we're just gonna get right into it. Today's episode is gonna be called Threatened, and we're gonna go over some key groups of people who tend to have this emotion and feel this emotion, and how to combat that when you are up against it. So, by the way, I am Jamie, and I'm your personal bartender. I chose that name for the YouTube channel because it remains my favorite profession to date. I've been a waitress, a pharmacy technician, a mom for quite a few years. I've worked in manufacturing for quite a few years, but I really found my niche in life with bartending. It really allowed me to actually experience talking to adults and talking to people about their day-to-day and their life experiences, and I really enjoyed that. I love that, and it's dear to my heart. But today's episode is actually inspired by recent events that happened to me, and I was just gonna go through like my thought process on everything with you guys, and maybe it'll be helpful, or maybe you'll just feel like you have somebody to talk to about what you've been going through with your situations. By the way, I realize that I do look like a hot mess. I'm actually utilizing the time that I have right now because I was able to clock out of my current job a little bit sooner than I normally do. You are probably going to see me smoking on occasion in my videos. I am a smoker. I'm sorry if that offends anybody. Oh well. So anyway, let's jump right into it. There are three groups of people that I really wanted to go over with this topic. And I know that it doesn't cover every single unique different type of person. There could be somebody in your church group, in your Girl Scout group, like it's not going to cover everybody, but this is just kind of like a general idea of everybody who goes through these feelings, and everybody that you might encounter that goes through these feelings. So
Fire. It got so man could face any test with a cigarette in his mouth. Ready? Aim! Fire! It's a Phyllis Morrison. Smokers could read the handwriting on the wall.
the top three groups that I really wanted to go over today were lovers. So your boyfriends, your girlfriends, anybody who you are with romantically, your husband, your wife, whatever. The second group being your friends, your close friends, and everybody knows what a friend is, you know, so.
I don't even know how I would go about it.
Well, what I do is I look a woman up and down and I say, hey, how you doing?
And the third group of people is your coworkers. And I'm gonna actually kind of lump this in with like bosses too. So just anybody in the workplace, but it seems more often than not that it does tend to be your coworkers. So the three groups today are lovers, friends, and coworkers. And we're gonna go over how they are all affected by feeling threatened, and how you are affected by that, and maybe how you are affected by feeling threatened in these scenarios with these certain types of relationships. So friends is the first category that I'm going to start with, how to combat them feeling threatened and things like that. Friends are actually going to be really interesting because there's going to be some similarities between friends and with lovers, and how they respond to being threatened. Friendships with your friends, you're going to see them puff themselves up. You're going to see them exhibit a superiority complex in front of anybody new that you do happen to bring in. That's a really common thing to see take place, as well as triangulation, false compliments, and a lot of shit talking behind people's backs. Like, you're going to see this a lot. If you introduce somebody new, if somebody else introduces somebody new. And I want you to keep in mind as well that if it's you that is feeling threatened, that there's really no reason for you to feel threatened if you do have a ground basis in yourself, if you do have a really healthy ego within yourself. And you should not be forcing yourself on your friend, because if they are your friend, then they're going to stay by your side, and you can just learn to, you know, incorporate this new person that they've brought in. If you can't, then that's kind of on you, and you do need to have a little bit more of a process of maturing happening within yourself. because that is a problem if you don't want to incorporate more people, because more friends equals more love, which all in all is always a wonderful thing to have. So anyhow, if it is, you know, the other way around and it was you that initially tried to involve someone else and your friend is feeling threatened, like I said, they will puff themselves up. And again, this is something that you do see with lovers. So it's really, really interesting how similar those two things are. I know I mentioned this before, but I think that is because friends and lovers don't incorporate as much ego as what goes on in the workplace. So the workplace parts are going to be pretty interesting, but the friends and lovers are pretty similar. Oh boy, I know that some situations can be kind of complicated. You might see a new friend come into your group of friends and they might have come in with not very good intentions, and you might be able to see through their bullshit, whereas your friend is not able to. Do not be bent about this. It's just shit that happens, and I'm here to tell you that even if inevitably your friend does get close to, you know, a POS person, they're going to figure that out on their own. And that's not really something that you should even bother yourself with getting involved with, for two reasons. One, because karma takes care of everything. Don't worry about it. And two, because you really don't want to be friends with a person that was not smart enough to navigate these things from the get-go on their own. So, like, you know, if your friend starts befriending and hanging around a very, very volatile, negative person, and you're able to see this right off the bat, just don't bother. Like, just walk away. Like, that is my best piece of advice for you. Just walk away from it, because again, not only do you not want to put yourself in that arena and that environment, but you also don't really want to be friends with your original friend. Like, I hate to put it like that, but you really don't. You don't want to be friends with somebody who can't see people for what they are, especially if it's really, really obvious. Like, if this person is just a horrible, horrible person and your friend can't see that, just niche it. Get rid of it. Nip it in the bud. Get over it. Just walk away. And you know, get closer with friends that you will already have. Like, get closer with friends that you know have some common sense about them. There's really no reason to feel threatened over somebody that is just, like, you know, really negative, really dramatic and things like that. They're just, if you know that they are, then just walk away from it. On the other hand, I know that everybody has a hard time sometimes, and maybe they can paint a person badly and they're not actually that bad. Those are two different things, and you really have to give it some time. Like, that is my best piece of advice. Before you do walk away, always make sure to give the friendship some time first to see what is happening, and maybe see if, like, you have, like, your threatened glasses on. That's what I call them. Because, like I said, everybody feels threatened from time to time. So just like there's rose-colored glasses, I do believe there's threatened glasses where, like, you see things from a certain perspective that maybe is not exactly true. So I would say the best thing to do is give it some time. And after, like, a month's worth of time, if this person is still a piece of shit, walk away from the entire situation and just don't be involved in it. That's probably my best advice. Okay, with lovers, this is really, really interesting. There are two different types of threatened responses from lovers that I have ever encountered in my life. And I could be wrong. And again, I am not a licensed therapist. I am not a licensed life coach. I'm not anything. These are just my opinions as your personal bartender. So there are two different types of responses with your lovers, and what's really interesting is that both responses do not directly affect the personality of your lover. Your lover could actually be a very extroverted person and really enjoy going out to the pub, having parties, playing cards with friends, but the way that they respond to being threatened is actually very introverted, and vice versa. So that's really interesting. But let's start with the extroverted lover response. So this is what I was talking about when I said that there's a lot of similarities between lovers and friends, because there absolutely are. Your lover, if they have an extroverted threatened response, is going to kind of mimic what your friends do. They're going to puff themselves up. They're going to peacock.
Are you peacocking? Really? You think that's gonna work?
I think it just might.
And they are also going to, you know, hurl the insults towards the new person. You know, this could be a coworker that hits on you, a customer that hits on you, a friend of the family that hits on you, whatever it may be. They're going to puff themselves up. They're going to make themselves look really good, and they're going to put that person down on top of it. The introvert is going to be withdrawn. They're going to pull back. They're going to be a little bit more quiet for the evening once they find out, you know, any information you relate about being hit on, or, you know, via witnessing it in person themselves. They're going to withdraw. They're going to be a little bit more shy for the evening, and they're going to be a little bit more whiny, clingy, and needy on top of it. But both extrovert and introvert threatened response will both make jokes about the situation and also recant them and say that they didn't mean anything. Those jokes are rooted in truth. Pay attention to them because your partner does feel threatened. The best way to respond to both the extroverted and the introverted response for your lovers is to sit down and talk with them, because it does feel shitty to feel threatened as a lover, as a girlfriend, a wife, husband, whatever. So the best thing that you can possibly do is really sit down, bolster their confidence in you as well as your relationship with them, and do or say anything it takes to really solidify that confidence. And see, a lot of people will disagree with me, and a lot of people will say, well, if this person is that insecure that they feel that threatened, you shouldn't be with that person to begin with. I completely disagree, because not one single person on the planet Earth has that much security and that much confidence that they've never felt threatened in their life. I call bullshit. You can take your cake and walk on with it, because that's not the truth. So I think every single person really, really deserves to have some kind of reassurance from time to time. You know, even if they aren't threatened. I think it's a very healthy thing for a relationship to bolster that person, to solidify their confidence in your relationship. I think it's great for a relationship. So anyhow, that is the first thing that I would really, really say that you should do. The second thing is maybe go out and do something with your person. You know, go out on a date just to really, really have that root basis of solidarity between you guys, that like, yeah, this happened and we did talk about it, but you know, let's just, because it's just you and me. Like, you and me are the only thing that matters. This is what's important. And this person is not important. A really cool thing to do would be, like, let's say the person that was a threat to your person has invited you to go somewhere. And not only do you say no, but you, on top of it, take your committed partner out to do something special for them. That would be a really, really big response, a really healthy, good response for your partner and for your relationship. Lastly, on the subject of lovers, regardless if they do have an introverted or extroverted response to being threatened, the big key thing here to look for is, and I know this is what everybody means when the initial response is, oh, if your partner feels threatened, you shouldn't be with them. Okay, I know where that's coming from, but here's my point. It's perfectly normal, human, and healthy to feel threatened by something from time to time. It is not, however, healthy to take it to the point where it is a red flag. What are your red flags? Well, your red flags are if you come home and you tell your partner that you've been hit on by someone, or they witness it, if they are physical with you, if they begin to isolate you from the certain situations. Let's say it's a coworker that hits on you. Now all of a sudden your partner doesn't want you to work at that job anymore. Bad. That's a red flag. If there is a friend of the family that hit on you and now your partner wants to isolate you from your family. Bad. That's a red flag. Those are red flags, and yes, they can lead to even more abusive behavior in the future. Those are the types of people that you don't want to be with romantically, and that is correct on that accord. But a normal, healthy feeling of being threatened, that's human. Everybody goes through it. I think you're joking yourself, you're kidding yourself if you feel like you never have, because we all have. Okay, our last group on feeling threatened is my all-time favorite. Coworkers. Okay? People in the workplace. This includes your bosses, everybody. this is, oh my God, the most fun for me to go over because I've been through this so much. And if anybody's interested in any kind of story times, I won't be mentioning names in the videos, but if you are interested in story times, holy hell, do I have a lot of them, threatened coworkers. So click the like button if you are interested in those stories, because baby, they are entertaining. So anyway, we're gonna go over like the two different types of coworkers that there seem to be out there that get threatened by people. I'm sorry, it's just like I'm remembering things, so you know. Anyway, there's two different types of these coworkers, and the one type, it's kind of similar to your lovers. It's like extroverted and introverted. Okay, so the extroverted ones, they are malicious as hell. These are the people that I deem to be borderline narcissistic, okay? Because when they have malicious intent in the workplace towards you, they, no holds barred. They are open about it. They are rude, mean, insulting, and on top of it, they manipulate you behind your back. So there are extroverted, threatened coworkers out there. The introverts are very covert, very sly. Like, they give you lots of compliments on the outside, but behind closed doors, they're telling a lot of people a whole different story, including your boss. So there are two different types. I think that the heaviest one, honestly, that you should fear is the extrovert. A lot of people would disagree with me. A lot of people would say, oh, you know, you should watch out for the covert people, the manipulative people. I don't think so. Like, I think if the extroverted ones have that big of balls that they're like, not only am I gonna fuck you over behind your back, but I'm gonna fuck you over right in front of your face, and I don't give a shit about it. Yeah, those people are scary, because to me, like, they have no remorse, as well as they don't feel like there's any ramifications or any sort of consequences for their behavior. So that is very narcissistic. I think that really, really points to narcissism, in my opinion. So anyway, like I said, either way, both classifications of these people, they're gonna have like the superiority complex. They're gonna be manipulative. They're gonna blame you for stuff that they did. They're gonna tell your boss that you did stuff that they did. It's a hot mess. It is truly, truly a hot mess. Anyhow. Oh, where am I at?
I will always love you. Oh, fuck. Right. And,
Sorry, I made notes and I'm like a little bit lost in my notes. Okay. So, since the feeling of being threatened really comes from an ego issue, and since some of these types really are truly narcissistic, the best piece of advice that I can give to people in the workplace is really to volunteer as little information to these people as possible, as humanly possible. And I mean, like, information about your personal life, information about your relationship with other coworkers, information about your relationship with your boss, any kind of information. You need to keep it to yourself, because these types of people that are extroverted or introverted in their threatened response in the workplace, they will use this information against you. Even positive information. I know this sounds crazy, but it has happened to me. So please trust me. If you encounter someone, and it seems to be, in my opinion, that it is these like extrovert response, narcissistic coworkers that are able to spin even positive information, but they can spin positive information. They can take your words and completely twist them around, and they are very, very good at it. So anyhow, watch out for those people. If you have any sort of an inkling, like if somebody has blamed you for something that they did right in front of you, like let's say they made a mistake right in front of you, and then they still blamed you for it and went and told your boss, And you're thinking in your head, this shit is crazy. Like, how could somebody be this ballsy to do this? That is the type of person that will be able to take anything positive that you say and spin it into a negative. So watch out for those kinds of people, because they are scary. Like, they have like a Hannibal Lecter ability to spin some shit. But again, I think that is because they are probably narcissists. And it's so funny how the workplace can really bring out the narcissist in anybody. Like, it really seems to be able to bring out the narcissist in anybody, more so than any other environment. So that's interesting to me. I think that I want to delve a little bit into that on a different video. But anyway, yes, volunteer as little possible information as you can, because it will always be used against you. Always, always, always. Always watch your back. Always do everything you possibly can. And really, I've been in a situation where I've done everything that I possibly can. And even in doing that, it didn't really help that person to respond to me in any better of a manner. And I ended up just having to go, or not care enough about keeping the job or not at that point, because it's like, what can you do? Like, people are going to feel how they're going to feel, and you can't change them. And you just have to get to a place where you're in an environment that is a safe environment and not a threatened environment. So, anyway, those are the 3 different classes of people that I wanted to go over today. And then at last, I did want to leave you all with just a little bit of a clip to go over triangulation, manipulation, superiority complex, and how that all can exhibit within a 30-second time frame. So I hope you guys all enjoy this little clip at the end of this, and I hope you have a good day. And I really, really enjoyed you coming to listen to me, and I really, really hope that you guys can give me some comments and some input on some experiences that you've had in your life, about feeling threatened or being around people that are threatened by you. But enjoy this clip and have a good day.
Oh my God, I love your skirt. Where did you get it?
It was my mom's in the 80s.
Vintage. So adorable.
Thanks.
That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen. Oh my God, I love your bracelet. Where did you get it?
So are you gonna send any candy canes?
No, I don't send them, I just get them. So you better send me one, biatch. Love ya.